I actually only have a handful of these left, so good evening. Only a handful of dead issues here. That's a very fancy 9/8 best fishes. And this one will be available for the 9/6. If anybody wants one, drop me a line. But I've been extremely busy, so I've been behind on my work towards the Kickstarter. So tonight I'm going to try to catch up on a little bit of that. I have to design some character bits. I have to work on some thumbnails. And I have to actually... Hey, Uncle Bill, thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a silly delight. This is the hope, a frivolous and silly delight. So tonight I'm working on some preliminary stuff. I hope everything's good with you. I hope Becky's good. Last I heard, I think you were working on your boat at some point. I don't know if that has progressed any. It's Billy. It's Billy, who has the same last name as me, but we're somehow not related. I keep bumping into my drawers here. Yeah, absolutely. Let's set up a date and time and get that rolling, because I could definitely use your help. You're much better at talking on these sorts of things than I am. Just listening to your show. Feel free to drop a link, man, so people can check out the whether it's the Joe St. Pierre or Townsend or your upcoming episode, whatever you got. Hey, Jonathan. Oh, you're working on the boat now, Bill. Nice. Scraping off some barnacles. I honestly just don't know what. I need to design some point of sale materials from my retailer friends, because they've talked about getting their own custom cover. So I want to design like a little stand for the book to go on, or at least a little plate to hang down on a shelf, because as we know, like at a comic book store, sometimes they're on like a shelf, next to other comics, and I want to design like a little plate that hangs down like this. It's easily printed and I can ship with the books. And then I also want to, and I've seen these online, they're really inexpensive, where I can get actually a little stand that holds the books. And it has a little thing here, so they can really be the same thing. So there's a point of sale graphic. Wiring and fixing things. Well, you're much handier than I am, Bill. I would be terrified with any sort of electricity. I'd be calling an expert. Turning the power off still leaves me nervous. I have not gotten to draw much today. I did a lot of graphic design, and then I actually did some coloring today on a poster for one of the conventions I help out with. Hopefully that gets approved and I can show people and get the word out. I won't know probably until the end of the week if that gets approved. I want to share the stuff that already is approved, but like it's weird. They sometimes put it on their social medias, sometimes they don't. I'm usually weird about sharing any published work until I see that the publisher themselves shares it. Then usually, even if they tell tell me. They don't tell me. It's usually safe to say that it's okay. I sent out that big stack of comics. I don't know if everybody saw that. They were graded books. There was artwork, all kinds of stuff. I haven't had time to send out the tracking information. So if anyone is like, "Where's my tracking? Is mine in that?" Well, it very well could be. I just haven't had time to send them out to people and plug them into the back end of my storefront. I have to manually do that when I go to the post office and do things that way. I've had a lot of ideas for Undersea Hero stuff, but one of the things that I don't want to do with the book is I don't want it to be uh, dated by referencing like current events or pop culture or things like that. I want the jokes to be timeless. So I've really been trying to harness that like universal humor. I actually really like doing preliminary work. I know it's not as exciting as like seeing the finished product, but what I'm doing in my head right now is picturing all the geometrics that go into this, where the cheekbones are and everything, and that really is um, something I like to do. Jonathan says fart jokes are timeless. I know someone that would agree with you on that. Uh, I actually listened to a talk that Steve Martin gave when he was reflecting on his work on The Jerk, which is one of my favorite movies. And when you watch that movie, it's very silly, but there aren't that many references to anything going on at the time other than like general human experience things, um, family related drama, stuff that's not dated. Because I've actually gone back and read some comedy comics that I really liked when I was younger, and they were very much of a time. But then when I read like Gru the Wanderer, he's not talking about Spiro Agnew or making Dan Quayle jokes or anything. I understand it's Sergio's birthday, so happy birthday, Sergio. I guess Sergio and Mike Zeck have the same birthday. I do have a Mike Zeck page in my comic art fans gallery and a Sergio sketch, so the entirety of the movie of The Jerk is just, it's so good. They hate these cans. Like it's such a stupid joke, but I love it. And I got to be honest, one of the things that I was just delighted about my trip to Colorado Springs, and I'm going to keep harping on it because it was really great this year, was that people actually wanted drawings of Undersea Hero, which the book hasn't even come out. Bill asks, "Are we coming down for a sail?" I would love to go on the boat. So maybe we can talk afterwards and maybe figure out a time I can fly down or something. I'll bring my fishing rod. I'll just fish off the boat. I'm a pretty good fisherman still, so I won't make a mess. I promise. On the fancy boat. Any boat larger than a Boston whaler, I generally just call it fancy. Because that's the only boat that I've ever had to like take care of was when I helped out at Mariah Mitchell. There was a Zodiac that they had, and there was also a Boston whaler. Like a 12-foot, something like that. I have no idea if they still have it. I also need to design like just talking head stuff so that when I'm populating the Kickstarter, which I've started building the back end of, and I know I have to get it approved, so I actually have to get it done probably next month. So it has time to be approved. I just talked to Rich Woodall though the other day. He's doing an Undersea Hero piece for us, so we'll get to see Rich Woodall. I'm trying to rope Craig Russo into doing one, and Joe St. Pierre has said he would do one, but he's super busy, so I understand if he does not get to it. I know he's got like a whole bunch of commercial art stuff that he's working on right now, and comic stuff. So he has both going on. So I was actually watching Animal Planet the other day, and they had the Atlanta Aquarium, like a reality show about working behind the scenes at the Atlanta Aquarium, and you got to see their whale shark. And they did all kinds of cool stuff. Their manta rays. I've never seen a whale shark in person. I've seen a manta ray, but I would love to see a whale shark in person. I've seen whales. I've seen lots of sharks, but never a whale shark. That's the best joke I could come up with just on the fly. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Our little fat cat logo. I could show you the next page of layouts I was working on. This is page 36, 37. Page 35, Undersea Hero. Here's Liquid Lads in danger. One of the spongemen is about to put a sponge on his head to like erase his brain. So Undersea Hero just grabs a fish who says "eep," and then he proceeds to hit the sea sponge like a baseball, and then he wallops the spongeman with the large salmon-like fish. But I'll probably work on that in a little bit too. Hey, Michael, good to see you too. Thanks for popping in. We're working on different designs for graphics for both the Kickstarter and for some of my retailer friends that I'd talked to. I actually had a couple tell me at Colorado Springs that they might do their own custom covers. So what I would like to do is equip them with like some posters and some point of sale stuff that's inexpensive to make, but would be really helpful in spotlighting the books. So I think we need some pretty simple graphics like new. I'm glad the stream is working better last week or this week than it did last week. Last week the whole restream was just not connecting, and then it didn't allow me to use like the old what I had set up for that day. Any cool sketch requests? I gotta say, I was thrilled that a lot of them were Undersea Hero. I only did a couple that weren't Undersea Hero, and they were mostly like the Tick. I think I did. Let me see. I probably took a picture if I have my phone on me. Let me see here. Photos. There was a Conan that we did. I had 2 requests for Undersea Hero riding a shark. This one was on a sketch cover. And I shared that one online. Here was a drawing I did on a giant wooden spoon of the Tick. There's me holding the spoon. And I gotta be honest, a lot of people bought the pre-done drawings, which was nice because I didn't have to do as much work. I know this isn't as exciting as like finished illustrations, but to be honest, this is what I have to do tonight. I have to do some design work. Yeah, pre-done drawings. A lot of those sketch covers that I had done previous to the show had sold at that show, which was nice. My next show I have scheduled is probably Rhode Island, but we'll see. I'm reaching out to plenty of stores and stuff about maybe doing some store signings and things like that. I keep meaning to put Iron Face on more stuff. I'm hoping to send an email to Dan and a couple of the other people that were involved and try to get. The goal is that the Kickstarter gets funded. We send you guys the books. You like the books, and then we get to keep making books. Like that's the goal. And I would love to do like an alternating schedule where I could do like 3 different books a year, like do Undersea Hero, do a Axe of Helena, and either do an Iron Face or do just an original graphic story. A martini shaped display. That's a good idea. That's pretty cool. I like that thinking. See, We got to look and see if something like that's possible on a budget. Because at the very least, we could cut it. I mean, we could always do like the classic mobile, you know, that hangs from the ceiling. You know, if we could figure out how to, like, the balance point. These would all have to be made by hand. I mean, we could at the very least put Crackus in the martini, but it would all have to be self-contained. I mean, why not? The whole thing with mobiles is just figuring out where the balance point is. Like if we did a cutout, like let's say we did a cutout, him holding the martini. We would just have to have, you know, I'm guessing that it's going to be somewhere in here is the center point. And it would be an easy thing to make because it's just a cutout with a, like we mount it on some cardboard or something. And we print one side, it would be two prints. So it would be two printouts so that we print it one way and then we flop it and we print it the other way so we could have it on two sides. And then we basically have to put like Undersea Hero, put like the logo. See, I like this thinking. That's a creative thought. We got to work on that. I think that's a fun idea because it's two printouts and some rubber cement and a hole punch. That's really all that it is. Because we could do it on 11 by 17, where it's like two of these next to each other, and it's like this big. And we could either have the same printout on one side or the other, or on the back we could have, you know, all the information of who Undersea Hero is. That's a good idea, Jonathan. Gold star. Round of applause. You know, I imagine we'll just do a pretty typical poster. I mean, that's a cheap thing to make. That we can do. We could do a mobile, like it hangs from the ceiling. It's two photocopies and a piece of cardboard and some rubber cement. It's easy. So let's say our cost on that ends up being, you know, 89 cents a print. So it's $1.50 piece of cardboard. It's going to be less than $3 a piece. So let's say in order to make that up on a $10 book, the margin of 4. So basically they have to order 5. Let's say they have to order 5 copies. They get a mobile. And posters. They'll be easy to do because it's just cutting it out. Like, and what we'll do is we'll just make them not exact. We can do this. That's a doable one. We're doing that. We're going to make that. He's got to be holding Undersea Hero's wallet. That's one thing we have to put in there. And it was pointed out to me that nobody realized that he's holding his wallet on the cover. That's his that's Undersea Hero's wallet that he stole. I also like to have little signs that they can, like, whether it's bookmarks or whatever, that they can put by the register or give out for free, just because it really does, like, it makes a huge difference. When a store decides to put things, you know, by the register or at their major points of sale, it makes a huge difference. especially for little indie guys like myself. But we can get to work on some of this stuff. Oh, the joke at the end of this page. We have him hitting the sponge off of Liquid Lad's head and then bludgeoning the other spongeman, but then at the end the fish is like, please no more. Every page has to have some kind of reward for reading it. I'd hoped to being done with all of these prelims by now, but I've just been bogged down with a billion things. It has been a struggle this month, but we'll get through it. I have not been to the comic store in ages, Jonathan. Ages. I'm telling you, ages. Am I going through withdrawals? You know, it's weird. Like I have broken free of the momentum reading. So it's really just picking up what looks good at this point, and that I do miss. I do miss. I've completely broken free from uh, momentum reading. Like I'm no longer picking up titles for having read them for a long time. And I know for some people like that's how they maintain their reading habits or whatever. But no, I get to go in with a clean slate like every week. And if something good comes along like that Eduardo Rizzo, Bruce Campbell, Sergeant Rock miniseries, I'll jump on for the whole ride. You know, I'll go back every week and pick it up. But I think last week, the last time I was there, I didn't get anything new that just like instantly hooked me. So it was not a fruitful week. But I would have liked to have picked up some new old books. You know, I know RLCS does not have a dollar bin, which is just abhorrent. I'm sorry, it's a horrible practice to not have a bargain bin for your comics. Coverless, beat up, I don't care. There should be a dollar bin. And if you think that's too cheap, make it a $2 bin. I wish I was closer to Rubber Chicken. They have a free comics bin on top of their wonderful 50-cent bins. And they have dollar bins. They have all kinds of just flat price bins. If I was closer, I would go to that. Got the new Transformers of Daniel Warren Johnson coming out, I think, soon. Or did it come out this week? Did it come out this week? Conan 2 came out this week. Michael goes to a place in North Attleboro called the Laughing Shield. He says it's a neat place. Do they have buck bins or bargain bin comics? Next month for Transformers 1. Okay. The little sponges, I enjoy them too much. I came up with a little seagull character the other day, actually. You hear that, Jonathan? Michael says that place in Attleboro's got bargain bins. We might have to scope it out. I do know that the next Attleboro Comic Show, or formerly known as the Attleboro Comic Show, is this weekend. I cannot go, but if I could go, I would go. I do think I would like to start going back to that show more often. I had a blast the last time we went. It's the type of show I really enjoy shopping at. Small, cool stuff, nice people. Doesn't take all day. You can check it out and check everything out in a couple hours, or you can spend all day there if you want, but it doesn't take forever. Next weekend? Okay. I thought it was this weekend. Okay. Maybe it is next weekend. Got my dates all messed up. I'm sure I saw that Jay from Rubber Chicken had shared it, so maybe that's what confused me. Poor Liquid Lad. Unfortunately, we don't really get to know Liquid Lad too much in this book, but he is a main character in the next story that I have planned after this one. See his hair, he's hitting the thing like kind of off his head, so his hair will be like messed up. Yeah, Mike, if we're heading up your direction, I'll drop you a note. Maybe we can meet you at the shop or something. You can show us around. You can be the guide. Show us where the good stuff is at that store. One of the good things about everybody being underwater is you don't have to like abide by gravity. So you can have all sorts of different solutions to where people can fit into the composition. Like you can move them around, you can have them just jump super high. And then the next page after this is like one of the dumbest jokes in the entire book. Um, if you'll notice that the Spongemen, they only have snorkels, so they can only stay underwater as long as they can hold their breath. They have to swim to the surface and catch their breath. So, like, if they're in the middle of a fight, they have to swim up and catch their breath. Like I said, sounds good. Parking can be found, but still a little tough. It is located on a one-way street off the main drag. Well, that sounds like fun. We'll have to figure out a way to make that happen. Thinking about the dynamics of getting hit in the face with a salmon. It's always funnier if the tongue is sticking out, I think. I do not have air conditioning in my studio, so it is warm in here. I actually love drawing preliminaries. I don't know. They're not as exciting to people, but it's exciting doing them because it's coming up with the ideas. And it's sort of like I have a concept in mind, but the execution is being revealed to me as it's occurring. I was actually watching the Crumb documentary. It's free on Tubi if anyone's never seen it. There's a documentary on R. Crumb, the cartoonist, by Terry Zwagoff, and it's an incredible film. Um, and there's one section where he's talking about how he doesn't do preliminaries because he needs the energy of it being revealed to him to finish the drawing, which I found fascinating. Because I can definitely, relate to losing um, energy on a piece for sure. It has been too hot this week for September. When does that nice fall weather kick into gear? Where you just need a light jacket. That's the good stuff. Yeah, we're getting to that part of the year where I've done, most of the shows I'm going to do. It's one of the reasons I rushed and worked so hard to get Undersea Hero 0 out there so I could get the word out for the Kickstarter. And that's really, I everybody talks about the best times to launch Kickstarters. My idea was to launch it, with the most promotion I could physically do behind me, and just hope that people remember the book or picking it up or meeting me or whatever, or they come and check out the stream. It gets so difficult, and everybody has the secret answers and everything. I was just trying to use some basic marketing logic where, stuff that I'd learned from traditional book publishing. If you can get in front of people and talk to people and they can meet you and they want to help you, I think that that's more important than, you know, having the best digital campaign or anything. Because one thing's for sure, like, I'm not going to be fudging the numbers. I'm not going to be putting any, secret bids or anything, that I'm aware of. I've got people who have committed to buying more than one copy, which is great. And some stores have talked about doing their own variants, which would really help. But, there are definitely some campaigns out there that I know for sure have had some number fudging going on. Smack, smack. Ow. Because he's using a live fish, and the live fish in my world talk to people. So I wanted this to show him hitting two people in one swing. That was the hope for this. I feel like Undersea Hero should be saying something here. I feel like that there's a dialogue missing. Like we need to have a heroic proclamation. It could be. It could be. I mean, the fish is going to be mad, and random stuff like that definitely has a way of coming back in Undersea Hero. Or at the very least, he comes back as like a anti-superhero protester of some kind, you know. Pretty simple stuff, walking around carrying like a peace sign. I don't know. Is that too political? I don't know. Silliness like that is why, and um, creative, interesting things like that is one of the reasons I love working on this, because something just as silly as like a fish that he grabbed and beat some lackeys to save his sidekick friend. You know, we can do anything, and that would be a great, like, even just a little strip, because I would love to get to where we're not just doing the books, but I can do like a monthly, couple of pages a month where I just post it online. No surface dweller. See, Jonathan, you're on fire tonight. First the mobile. Now, see, the only problem with that being is that Undersea Hero is not really a surface dweller. He has an undersea dwelling, so maybe it can be just as simple as like he doesn't like, you know, bipeds or mammals. Maybe it's an anti-mammal thing. I don't know. Slap smap. It's a highly technical term. Smap. Yeah, anti-mammal sentiment, very very big amongst the fish used to bludgeon mammals with. How did I end up using my years of playing baseball? I knew how to hold a fish for bludgeoning for my comic book character. All those hours in the batting cage. I did get word from New England Comics on one item. They will not be at New York Comic Con, so I will not be at New York Comic Con. Um, they had said they might have been doing it, but I'm not surprised. They haven't really done much since COVID, really. And they still have like unpublished material for me just sitting on a shelf. So that's annoying, but it's their book. So we'll just keep plugging along with our own stuff. Maybe someday I'll get to set up at New York Comic Con with an Undersea Hero booth. And that's a hope that, with everything, we get everything done in a timely fashion, between now and the end of the Kickstarter, and then probably a couple of months after that, and then all of next year. It's just telling people about Undersea Hero and showing people the books and trying to get people to try it because it'll be done. And I did have a chuckle. There was actually an editor that looked at Undersea Hero, and they were just like, "Oh, it's just superhero stuff." I'll be interested to see if they have the same reaction when the finished product comes out, because it's not just superhero stuff. All right, this I have to tighten up a little bit because it's really bad. You can see I barely even have the balloons. The spacing is terrible. It's terrible. At least here I could justify the spacing is okay. No, you're right, Jonathan. I even messaged them about just setting up a signing at the store, and I got nothing back. I was going to call them and just be like, "Hey, what's up?" But I don't know. I do not know. I understand that being a comic book retailer in this market is extraordinarily difficult, but I don't know. It's not like I'm asking them to do extra work for free. I'm always willing to help. And anytime I've done a signing or anything at any of their stores, I've promoted the hell out of it. So I actually haven't asked Time Capsule if they would let me do anything or put flyers or whatever. Maybe I'll ask them. Probably have like the swirls and like the little stars. And one thing I'll be advertising and I'll be offering is if anybody wants to do their own issue 0, it's just a minimum of 25 copies, and I'm willing to do custom artwork for pretty much any store that wants to do that for no additional charge for this first go round. In the future, that would change, but I'm bringing an unproven commodity in their eyes and asking them to sell it in their stores and take a risk on some space for me. So I'm willing to put in the work to try to support them if they're willing to do it, because I very much believe in brick and mortar comic book stores. Or if they have an artist that is at their store, they're welcome to do the artwork. I would just need to approve sketches or whatever. Somebody messaging me. No, okay, we're good. We're good. I've been getting so many text messages lately from people who I don't want text messages from. The ones from the people I like, absolutely. Bring on the text messages. But they should be like a little curlier tail, so it's like kind of sad. Swirly eyes, got the little swirls in the eyes. I put a quote in the description of tonight's video from one of my favorite authors, which was John Cheever. And it's probably from his most famous story called The Swimmer. And it's about a guy who endeavors to, and it's to swim across his entire town by going from one person's swimming pool to the next. And it was a commentary on, what was happening in America at the time in the suburbs, because everyone was moving out of the city and into these suburbs, and they were having these giant pools and, just these overly lavish things, and just this absurd notion that this guy would swim from one swimming pool to the next and somehow get all the way across town, going from one backyard to the next, from swimming pool to swimming pool. They made a movie out of it that's pretty good. It's not as good as the short story, and quite frankly, it's a very short story. So if you have any interest, I recommend. They published it in many, many books and collections. So if you're interested in like social commentary of like the 1950s. Yes, Burt Lancaster. That's right. Gold star for Michael. Michael DeFonte with the movie knowledge. He also did a book called The Wapshot Chronicles, which was another one that was just a family drama. And it's interesting that a lot of his work was embraced by that generation while not fully realizing that, a good chunk of it was commentary and criticism of that sort of lifestyle. So I've been making a list of t-shirts to design that eventually I'll put in like one of those print on demand sites. And one of them is Everyone Hates Liquid Lead. And from this story, we're not going to know why, but in the future, we'll see why everyone hates liquid lead. You can see a lot going on this page as far as people being hit with a fish. Always trying to come up with new, interesting, and dynamic poses, but it takes a lot of work for me to figure out the geometrics behind it when I don't have like any photo reference or anything. So we'll see if we pull it off. We may not. It's just a quick marker drawing, so figure out what we're doing. Yeah, I was thinking it would be funny to have it on like a giant on a whale or something, but maybe a giant rock. I thought having it like on a whale that's just kind of like, I don't know, smiling or something. And try to come up with like a nice visual gag of like Undersea Heroes like trying really hard, and maybe the whale is like reading a book. I don't know. The whale's like reading a book. And here's like our little Undersea Hero guy. It's not very little, so it makes the sight gag a little bit funnier. I want everything to be funny, if we can, or at least amusing. Amusing is the word, I think, that best describes the feeling I would like people to pull from this work. Joyful amusement. In the words of the great Miyazaki, if I entertain people, maybe I deserve to live. Frivolous pursuits that get us places, like the swimmer. But in addition to the book, you have to have all these additional graphics and stuff, and I want them all to be fun or funny or at least considered. I guess that's the word. I would like all of the graphics because I look at so many campaigns, and I've been trying to learn from them, and friends of mine have been really helping me with trying to make it a project that people would want to engage with. And my video is going to be like that trailer that I did with some updates to it and like a quick little mini interview with me on camera, I guess. See, I think if it's a whale smiling with like a tiny little shirt that barely fits, like, and his belly's sticking out, and it says stretch goals on the shirt, I think that that's funny. And maybe he's got like a little sea captain's hat. That's what I'm thinking. Whale wearing a shirt that says stretch goals on it, and it's like barely fitting. It's been tough getting into a headspace of being funny lately, but time is of the essence. So I'm glad I wrote the whole story. So at least I know the book has been tested for funny. And I've gotten some good notes from people, you know. But one of the things that I like about some of my favorite Kickstarter campaigns has been just how considered and planned out, even just the graphics for the stretch goals and the books and everything else. I still got a cover I got to draw for the book itself. I've done 3 or 4 different designs. I'm not sure which one I'm going with yet. Like I have a busy one. I do think I need to introduce like the major cast of characters on this cover, unlike the issue 0 cover. So hey Desiree, good to see you. Crackus comes to your house and makes you a martini. I wish. Well, I think we're just going to go till 9:30 tonight, if it's okay with everybody. Quite tired, and I would love to take a little break ski this evening. Sorry you just popped in, Desiree, but thank you for one of the things you might want to see we came up with earlier. It was originally Jonathan's idea for a niftier point of sale. So we're going to make a like a Crackus mobile, where I think we can do them for about $3 a piece, where it's just a printout of a picture of Crackus on both sides. And we can probably, now that I'm looking at it, we can actually probably put this right here. Just have like Undersea Hero by me and then the website. But it'll be a mobile that you can hang from the ceiling as like a advertising piece that we can include into orders to retailers. So we thought about doing different stuff, but I think that I think that's a cool idea, and it'll just take probably. I don't think I'm going to have to make that many of them. So yeah, and we did a thumbnail. We did another layout page where Liquid Lad is about to have his mind wiped by this sponge, and Undersea Hero grabs a fish and just starts beating them with a fish, and the fish at the end says, "Please no more." So We're just working on different point of sale stuff and designs that I just haven't had time for. I've wanted to work on this stuff. Some of the advertising images, just getting the ideas down so that all I got to do is crank on artwork. There's going to be one weekend where I'm literally just drawing ads all weekend. It's going to be a lot of work, but it has to be done. And if anyone has yes, you two will definitely need one. So you have a semi 3D Crackus at home. And I've talked to people who do 3D printing and all that kind of stuff. So all of that is possible, as long as the first book happens. And I'm open to doing any of that stuff. I know people are really excited about merchandise, but I've just been focusing on the book, really. I might bug you if it's possible to get some of that. If the video came out of the interview that we did at San Diego, I might want to put that in my Kickstarter, or at least a link to wherever you put it. I'm going to need some standalone graphics for each of the rewards. It's probably going to be. I think the easiest thing would probably be to have Crackus, drawing Crackus with various arms pointing at things. Probably need a right and a left drawing. I wonder if there's a way I can draw it to where I can actually just manipulate the arm. Like I can have most of the arms like this in a cluster. And then I can just have the same arm and flip it and move it around. That would be a way to save some time. I could have a couple or three. I could do maybe 3 arms, draw Crackus, and then have 3 arms separate that I can then use to point at different stuff. That would be a good way to save time right there. If I could just do a shot of arms. So I would need to draw, yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much a marionette. So see, this is the kind of work that I have to do to figure out how to save myself time in doing this stuff. So if we have Crackus and probably 3 arms and then 1 arm with Martini. So the cluster in front of him has to be, so that's at least 4 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think that's a good idea. That way I can just, in Photoshop, I can just move the arms around. I can stretch them, I can manipulate them, I can do all kinds of stuff with them. So that'll be on my list to do this weekend. Well, thanks for hanging out with me during the less fun working process. As far as the finished stuff, we did a quick ad. It'll save me a lot of time. I think it will when I'm putting together the graphics. I think it will. I think it'll be good. We have the point of sale pieces we designed real quick. The marionette, which I'm excited about. The hanging piece. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everybody, for your ideas. There's the prelim we worked on, and then there's the stretch goal with the giant whale with the tiny hat and a little shirt that says stretch goals on it. So the mobile, we got some good ideas done tonight, and you guys were awesome. So thank you for hanging out. And Michael, I'll send you a message if we head up to that comic store. I don't know if it'll be before the next stream or anything, but we'll definitely check it out. We're always up for new stuff. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you in a week. All right. Bye.